Hello, I'm back. Today I thought I would talk about the struggle for peace and comfort. And anybody who's following my series, which is not many, but once again, like I stated, if I can help one person, then I did my job. But I figured today would be a good day to do a video because I'm struggling. Not every day, but today in particular. And I'd like to talk about but the aftermath of trying to find peace and comfort and the things that can happen. For me, I struggle finding any kind of comfort. Just anything at all. And I have a few girls that are friends that they give me a good hug, and it feels good because I get a little comfort from somebody. My family was never really particularly affectionate, so I found that it's actually kind of a funny story because I actually didn't know what comfort was, because even though I was married for so long, I was married to a narcissist, and a bipolar person, so I actually didn't know what comfort was. But I'm actually kind of mad that I know what comfort is now, because I had it for a very short while, and since I haven't had it, I now know the difference of what my life was like when I had no comfort at all from anyone, ever. I actually didn't know the meaning of the word. I mean, you understand the terminology of the word comfort, but you don't quite understand the feeling of comfort until you actually get to feel it. And I did for a short while. The other person didn't understand. Wasn't their job to. But I'm actually pretty pissed that I wish it had never happened. Not because I regret anything, it's because I now know the difference of what your life can feel like when, especially for me, and probably a lot of other people out there too, where you go your whole life and you have your parents weren't particularly affectionate and loving, and so you grow up that way, and then you have the unfortunate problem happen where you marry someone and you don't know no different. And that's a big reason why I think I stayed married to him for so long, is because I actually didn't know no different. I didn't. I just thought that's the way life was. I mean, I knew how much I gave, and I'm actually a very, very affectionate person. I mean, probably over the top affectionate, but I just thought that's how I was, and that there was something wrong with me because I was that way, but other people weren't that way towards me. And then I had a short stint where I actually felt comfort for the first time in my entire life. My whole life. And I wish I wouldn't have known. To go 40 some years and not ever feel comfort, and then you feel it for a few short months and then it's gone. You miss it. And that's partly why in my other video, I hear me, why I said don't get involved with people, is because it can actually do more damage to you. Because just when you think that you're going to be okay and you're going to make it, shit'll happen. Another woman will come along. Because if there's one thing I've learned in life is that you're easily replaceable. So don't ever think that you're not replaceable, because you are. Very quickly. Only takes a matter of a minute and you're replaceable. And you can get discarded as quickly as you gain their interest. And that can end up doing more damage to you than you wanted. See, knowing someone that I did for a short period of time, it didn't damage me. It made me feel good for a short period of time, and then it was gone. And that was okay. Hey, everything's a lesson in life, right? But I've struggled hard trying to find some kind of comfort or something, and that's what you'll probably end up doing too, is you'll struggle for comfort. Because if you're like me and you're married to a narcissist or had a relationship with a narcissist, you didn't get comfort either, because they're not capable of it. They don't give you comfort. They're not going to. You're nothing to them. And I think that's also a hard part that I'm having to deal with, is I don't miss him at all. It's living with the regret that I didn't know no better. I stayed with someone because I grew up in a not very affectionate family, and then who didn't provide comfort at all. No offense to mom and dad if you see this, but sorry, you didn't. There was no comfort. It was chores and, don't speak unless you're spoken to and that kind of thing. So, you kind of felt like a robot slave. And but you're going to deal with regret and be angry. I'm angry I stayed so long, because now I'm old. And I'm too old, apparently. Didn't think I was, but I'm too old. Because now all I get are people that tell me that, not that I was looking for a relationship, but they spout it off right off the bat and say, well, I'm not looking for a relationship, or, and you're like, well, I don't even know you. Why would I want to get in a relationship with you? But you're good enough to have sex with, and you're good enough to, be buddy-buddy with, but, God forbid, they don't want to remain monogamous or anything like that. And it's this whole new concept of let's just hook up and have sex, and that's strange for me, because if I'm going to share the most intimate part of myself with you, I gotta know you. Plain and simple. I mean, I guess people view things a little bit differently, but I don't. And Now I get the men that are send me rude texts and they're like, well, let's just hook up and have sex. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, I mean, it's almost like the way it comes across to me when they do that to me is like, okay, well, they must really think there's something if, okay, so I'm just supposed to come over to your house and just like get undressed and say, okay, do me? I mean, really? Seriously? It's like, okay, well, you have a really goddamn high opinion of yourself, because what the hell are you gonna do for me? You know, I mean, it's like this, in my mind, you know, sex is supposed to be a two-way street. It's not supposed to be just there, just lay there and, you know, or as one guy told me, just stop talking. Oh, okay, so you're supposed to be completely quiet. Okay, well, all right. Well, you know, if you're pulling my hair, I'm going to tell you to stop. You know, I mean, let's get real here, you know, but anyway, it's just been a lot that I've gone through in the last probably 5 or 6 months that I'm just appalled. And it's heartbreaking. You get that, well, you're too old. And in my mind, I'm like, motherfucker, you're older than me. How am I too old? You're older than me. But I'm too old. Do you get that? I'm too old. I'm too old. So to circle back around, I have the regret because I stayed so long with this particular person that now I'm too old that nobody wants me. And those that do just want to use me. I get the perverse people that are like, oh, well, you know, I like your lips, I like your eyes, I'd like to see your mouth wrapped around me. And you're like, wow, okay. And they do this in person. It's not like I'm doing online dating. I tried that for a week and I was like, screw that shit, I ain't doing that ever again. I prefer to meet someone the old-fashioned way. But even still, even at that, it's like, it's still harrowing when you meet them in person too, you know? And there is no, it's like there is no more getting to know someone. There is no more like, hey, how are you doing? You want to hang out? You want to see if you have anything compatible, or, you know, if you can even stand the person. And a while back I posted online that I said that dating is like, basically you gather information, or you compile information about the other person until you find out you really don't like them. And that's how I feel. I've been out on a few dates with the same people, and, you know, you get Mr. Cheapskate, you know, that won't pay for themselves. You know, they want you to pay for them. And it's like, huh, okay, well, maybe I don't want to pay for you. I'll pay for myself, but I don't want to pay for you, you know? And the whole dynamic has shifted from the last time I was single at 22 years old. And now I'm in my 40s, and it's like the whole world has just gone crazy. And I don't really like it very much. And am I tired of being lonely? You bet. Yes, truthfully, I've been lonely my whole life. Just because I had that person around me, at the time, I didn't think I was lonely. But I do know what true aloneness is. This has been a lifetime that way. Your whole adult life that way. And so let's say you spend 24 years or 23 of being alone, feeling lonely all the time because you don't know the true definition of a hug or comfort. And now I do. I know the true definition of a hug and comfort. And I'll never forget it. And you know, I'm not angry. I'm not. Part of me is actually really glad that I actually, for at least if it was only for a brief period of time, at least I actually got to find comfort. I got to actually feel what that was like. And the other part of me is angry because I wish I'd have never known. Because then I wouldn't feel the way that I feel. I wouldn't be searching for that. But that's why I said don't get involved. In my other videos, I couldn't stress that point enough. I said don't get involved. Don't get involved. Don't get involved at all. Don't. Because you can't. You shouldn't. And you need to wait. Because then you end up, like me, sitting alone in a garage. Ain't it beautiful? By yourself. In the middle of the night. Because you can't sleep. Because you don't want to go to sleep. See, I don't like going to sleep. I hate sleeping. I need sleep. I know people always think I'm ditzy, but I'm actually not ditzy. I'm just sleep deprived. As I can't sleep anymore. I don't want to. Because on the rare occasion that if I don't have bad dreams, very rare I'll wake up and I'll have a good dream. And it's nice. And then I wake up and I realize that it was just a dream. And I'm alone again. And that's okay. I got this. At least that's what I tell myself. I may be struggling and barely breathing, but I got this. And lately, because I have been struggling as hard as I have, because I've had a lot of things that I don't wish to speak to anybody about or talk about at all happen. I started drinking a lot more. And I went against everything I said in my other videos about don't fall into the bottle, don't do this, don't do that. Because in the beginning I did. And then I tapered off and I didn't. For a long time. And then the last 4 months, about 4 months, started drinking a lot more than I ever did. And I basically quit eating food. Because I lost all desire for food. Nothing sounded good. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to sleep. Didn't want to eat. The only thing I could do is immerse myself in listening to every song that I could think of to make myself feel better and drinking. And that's definitely not the way to go. But, you know, it's not like I have a lot of options. And that's okay. So I drink. Not when I first get up, obviously. I mean, I'll go the whole damn day, clear into the evening. And then usually by that point, I've had so much happen or too many memories or something. And you just get to the point that you do anything to make it go away or feel better. And so you start drinking because you're like, shit, man, at least when I'm drunk, I don't feel this way, you know? And sometimes you just keep drinking until it stops. Until you can't lift your hand no more. And you end up going days and days and days and days and not eat. And that's not good for you either. But people cope in any way that they can. And I have a few friends that are good friends. But you always feel like you're bothering them if you try to talk to them. And yeah, I still see a psychiatrist 3 times a week. But you ever just had shit happen to you that's so fucking bad? I mean, just downright awful that you don't even, let alone remember it, you don't ever want to say it. You just don't want to speak about it. You're just like, if I don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist. It didn't happen. That's how I get through life. And a few times I do approach people they're like, fuck, I don't want any part of this. And I don't blame them. I don't want any part of it. I'm trying to deal with this crap, you know, so I don't blame them for not wanting any part of it. But, you do what you gotta do. But if there's anybody watching this that doesn't have any issues and they're not watching this video to see if they can get help or anything like that, just know that if your friend reaches out to you that's like me, it takes a lot for me to reach out to somebody. So if I actually reach out to you, it's because I've ran it through my head thousands of times or more. I've thought of every possibility, and sometimes I just need a little guidance or a little reassurance, you know? And so don't always be quick to rebuff that person and push them off, because sometimes when they're reaching out to you, it's because they really, really need just a little bit of help. And if you're truly their friend, you'll listen. Or you'll be objective and at least answer them. And it's not a requirement to help your friend. But a true definition of a friend, wouldn't that be that? You know? Because, you know, I can tell you this right now, is that I would be there for anybody. But people don't know that because they never give me the chance. First thing they want to do is use me. And this using society makes you want to move to the mountains somewhere, where I used to live, and be a hermit. And just stay the fuck away from all human beings. And just commune my little ass right into whatever place that I'm at. And just not have any contact with people. Because I've tried to teach myself how not to get hurt by other people, but I don't know how to do that. Because people will, you know, I'm sick of being discarded. And that's how I feel. I'm discarded all the time. As soon as someone better comes along, as soon as someone they want to hang out with more comes along, that's the first thing they do, is they're like, boom, gone. And you're like, okay. And then you're stuck sitting there or standing there or whatever, you know, and I'm just tired of being discarded. And I think the best way not to ever get discarded again is just to tell everybody to just go fuck themselves. Because that's exactly how I feel right now. Every single person I fucking know. And if you're my friends in person, well, I'm sorry. Because that's just how I feel. I'm sick to death of it. I am. And I've just had a belly full of that shit. And I guess to be my friend, if you understand when I tell you that I'm sick of it, and I don't like being discarded. I don't like being an afterthought. I hate that. And because I would never treat you that way, is the thing. And the way I feel is if I wouldn't do it to you, don't do it to me. And I wouldn't do that to the person. Anybody. Unless I'm running from you, like a particular person. And I'm hiding from you. But these are all things that you're most likely going to feel. Maybe not to the extent that I feel, but I live in a shitty little town, and all outwards appearances, it probably looks like a great little town, but I'd rather be back in Berlin and New Hampshire, because at least there it was, people were actually a little more genuine, and but to circle back to the beginning, you will be angry over the wasted years you spent. So I spent many years and I wasted them. Hermie. No. This is my dog. His name is Hermes, but I call him Hermie Ray. He's a good boy. Dogs do provide some comfort. Some. But he's a crazy little boy. Just want people to know to try to prepare yourself for the absolute worst. Prepare yourself for regret. Know you're going to have a lot of it. And as soon as I figure out how not to feel so much regret for wasting as many years as I did, only to find out that now I'm too old. I don't feel too old, but apparently I am. Because that's all I ever hear is, you're too old. You know, you're like, wow, okay. I didn't know I was a grandma, but, you know, apparently the prime age is, 25 to 35. But that's okay too. But just give people like me a chance. Even though they may seem messed up, they're not always that messed up. Because what happens to them doesn't define them. You either figure out your crap and you deal with it. That's what I've done. I'm well aware of what's happened and I've dealt with it and I've moved on. But you can't get rid of that shitty stigma that hangs over your head, That's probably why I want to move the fuck away from everyone, is because then maybe I can be somewhere where I don't have to say anything. I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to... shit, I could tell people I was artificially inseminated, for Christ's sake. And that's how I got my kids. I mean, they look like me, so, hey, that probably fly. But, don't be too hard on yourself. And if you're somebody who's not needing help and you're just watching this just for shits and giggles, don't be hard on the other person. As I don't think people realize that people like me, there's a lot of us. Sometimes literally in life, you're the only person that they've got. And realize that you can matter a whole lot to those people. A whole lot. Certain people mattered a whole lot to me. Just couldn't keep them around. And that's okay. I'm glad to see they're all living their best life and moved on, and they've got other people around them that they're involved with, and I'm glad to see they are living their best life. Not easy to see. But you just smile and go on with life. So that's the other reason why you shouldn't get involved until you're ready. Mine wasn't intentional, though. I think I was just overwrought and going through some crazy shit, and I clung to someone and I shouldn't have. But I don't regret it. I just regret knowing what comfort feels like. Wish I'd never known. Really. I wish I'd have never, ever known what actually feeling comfort is for the first time in my life. I wish I'd have never known what that felt like. Because, you know, you don't know you're missing anything, right? You know, until it's shown to you. And then when it's taken away, faster than you can actually say goodbye. Because you're discarded that quickly. And that's what people do. They discard you that quickly. And it hurts. Not because of, for me, not because of what people may think. It's the, how quick people move on. Like I'll call him my narcissist because he's always going to be my narcissist. Always. Because I was married to him and I have children with him. So, unfortunately, he's always going to be my narcissist. My narcissist moved on fast. Just phenomenally fast. And he's been with a woman that was actually my friend for 3 years before he started fucking her. So I lost a friend and no, actually I didn't lose him because I left. But what I mean is that, you know, it's like, wow, after 21 years of marriage, I was replaced so quickly. And I hate feeling that way. I hate feeling all the time that there's always someone better to replace you faster. I'm sick of it. And it makes me not ever want to be friends with anybody because I realize how fast I can be replaced. That you don't matter. Because honestly, in this world, you don't matter. You don't fucking matter. You don't. You don't. You'll get replaced very quickly. And I was replaced really, really quickly. And that's part of the regret of being married for so long is because, and staying with them so long is because I realized that everything I went through was basically for nothing because he was able to replace me quickly and go torment somebody else, but he's actually not tormenting her. They're actually in the honeymoon phase right now still where he, you know, acts like the best person in the world and does everything for her. And I will say this, and what I mean by that is I actually was with him for 23 years. Technically, it's been almost 25 now, but I've been away from him almost 2 years. But in all those years, in 23 years, he had never thrown me a birthday party. Ever. He invited people over once. One time. One time. But 4 months into his new relationship, he spent thousands of dollars to hire a personal karaoke DJ. Rent tents and chairs and tables and buy her all kinds of crazy shit and lights and everything. And the only thing I could do, it wasn't because I was jealous, it was because I just looked at that and I thought, motherfucker, I gave you children, cleaned your house, washed your clothes, took care of your stupid fucking ass for all those years, and you couldn't even do anything like that for me? When I did shit like that for you, I've thrown you dozens of parties, you bastard. It's that for me. Is the realizing that I'd spent all that time with someone who never really gave a shit about me. And then I have to sit back and, while I was married to him, I already heard the stories because he was married before me, of his first wife and all the stuff he did for his first wife. And that was always his excuse with me, is why he didn't do anything for me. He's like, oh, I'm never doing that again. Well, yeah, he did. But it just goes to show you that, you know, the right person that comes along, they'll do anything for you. And the funny part is that I actually feel that way all along about everyone I'm around. I'd do anything for you. Just don't think that I was meant to be around normal people, I think. I think I'm abnormal. Stop chewing on my shoe, you booger. You already chewed all the rest of them up. Stop it. But, anyway. So, think about those things. Put it on your to-do list of figuring out how to deal with the regret, because you're going to have a lot of it. A lot. And as soon as I figure out a way to find comfort, I'll let you know, without it being another person. But so far, no dice. So, but until then, do your best. Try not to follow the bottle the way I have, and will probably continue to do so. As I'm not all the way through this yet. I'm hoping I will be soon. Because the truth is I actually don't like drinking. Isn't that a conundrum? I actually don't like drinking at all. I don't like how it makes me feel the next day. I don't like the indigestion it gives me when I'm drinking it. So, even though I know it's going to cause me problems, I do it anyway. Because those small problems that I don't want pale in comparison as to how I'm going to feel later. And whether or not I'm going to have wicked nightmares when I try to go to sleep. And usually if I drink enough, then when I go to bed, I don't usually actually have any dreams. I don't wake up, because I'll only sleep for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and I'm awake. And I'm awake probably 22 hours of the day. And that's a lot of goddamn time to think, and it really sucks. Like right now, it's probably 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not tired at all. And I probably won't sleep. And if I do, I'll probably end up sleeping out here in the garage where, you know, doze off for an hour maybe. But this time I shut the door, so I won't wake up with a strange animal hopefully on my lap. No, my luck, I'd probably get a rat or something crawling on me. But anyway, so I'll just say toodaloo for now. But deal with your regret. Deal with your disappointment. Figure out how to find comfort. And I'm probably going to say a dog or a cat. But nothing replaces having someone give you a hug and actually make you feel that way. Nothing does. And like I said, wish I'd have never known that. Because now that I'm too old, now it actually gives me something to be scared about, that I worried that I'll go the rest of my life and I'll never, ever, ever have anyone make me feel good ever again or hug me that way ever again. Because I'm too old. So, If you're young, you're in your 20s, your early 30s, and you're dealing with this shit, get out now. Don't wait till you're in your 40s, because then you're going to be way too old. And people just aren't going to want you. So, not just maybe your physical appearance, not your age, but maybe because of what you went through, because they're not smart enough to understand that you were smart enough to say, you know what, hey, yeah, shit happens. You know, it's kind of like cutting your finger with a knife, you know. You're still going to handle the blades, but you're just going to be a little bit careful, more careful than you were before, huh? Well, that's how I feel. I'll be a lot more careful when I'm around anybody else ever again, if I ever get the opportunity, that they're not some kind of freak weirdo, you know. But so far, I've had a big fat 0 just trying to hang out with someone, because like I said, there's always someone better. They always have this perpetual ideology that the grass is always greener on the other side. And that you're never quite good enough. So, get out now when you're young. When you're in your 20s and 30s. Don't wait till you're in your 40s. I'm sure so glad I didn't wait till my 50s, because then I might as well have just shot myself. And chalked it up and looked forward to seeing my sons in heaven. Or on the other side. So, but try to find comfort. Do the best you can. Keep your chin up. Even when the world looks shitty, trust me, it can always get worse. It can get really bad. But that's what happens when you're trying to survive a narcissist. Shit you don't think they'd ever do, they do. They behave in the most strangest, erratic ways. And then after a period of time, after they found their new source, then you become their hatred. And now I'm his hatred. And I thought he was horrible with me at the beginning of this. Now he's just awful. And it keeps getting worse. I wish I could tell you that things will get better. This isn't an inspirational video. This is a video of, oh shit, this is what you're going to be dealing with. This is real life. And once you reach the point that you're hated by them, you better watch your ass. Because they're psychopaths. So, you can be like me and end up spending every day of your life worried. Every hour. Lock your doors. Every time you see a vehicle like theirs, your heart skips a beat and jumps in your throat. So, anyway, stay safe. Hopefully my next video might be a little more uplifting, maybe a little more informative. But like I said in the beginning, I'm struggling. So, I have a feeling that these video series, you're going to see ups and downs. Today's a down day. Or down week. So, until then,